watching CBS 8 Mornings at 6.
Good morning to you on this Monday. Time now 6 a.m. I'm Eric Connard.
And I'm Evan Irani. We want to start off with a check of the forecast following a cloudy weekend out by the coast, but some sunshine as you made your way east. It's going to be a lot more of the same over the course of the day today. Take a look at satellite radar here. We've got clouds out by the coast across our inland valleys, a little bit of green popping up on the radar component, which means that there's some mist and drizzle to contend with to start off the day. Fog is in the forecast for Ramona, at least at half a mile, just up to about 0.8 of a mile at this point. Most other spots on the map are well over 3 and 4 miles, so doing all right, but there are still plenty of low clouds out there. Coming up, we're going to talk about how these clouds that'll likely hang out with us all week are going to be impacting your afternoon high temperatures and when you can find the sun. But back to your top.
Immigration clashes in Los Angeles are entering a fourth day. Governor Gavin Newsom says the state will file a lawsuit against the Trump administration today after the president bypassed the governor to deploy at least 2,000 National Guard troops, including some based here in San Diego. Newsom is calling on the president to pull those troops back, calling the move, quote, purposefully inflammatory. CBS's Naomi Ruckham has the latest.
Violent clashes in Los Angeles County as anti-ICE protesters take to the streets, with some people setting cars on fire and shooting off fireworks at police. President Donald Trump has deployed National Guard troops, bypassing California Governor Gavin Newsom.
I did call him the other night. I said, look, you got to take care of this, otherwise I'm sending in the troops. That's what we did. Newsom
and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass have appealed to protesters for peace while blasting the president's move as inflammatory.
I don't want people to fall into the chaos that I believe is being created by the administration.
Newsom has requested that the White House rescind the deployment of National Guard troops, calling it a serious breach of sovereignty. Meanwhile, the U.S. military has confirmed to CBS News that 500 active duty Marines are prepared to deploy if ordered to do so.
We'll send whatever we need to make sure there's law and order.
Los Angeles police say dozens of arrests have been made and multiple officers have been injured in the clashes.
This thing has gotten out of control.
It all comes as a new CBS News poll finds that 54% of Americans support the Trump administration's deportation program. For some LA residents, the issue hits close to home.
People are taken from their houses, from their workplaces, for no reason.
Overnight, the city of Glendale in Los Angeles County announced that it's terminating a contract to house immigration detainees. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
It is unlawful to deploy American troops on American citizens.
Here at home, some people demonstrated in front of Camp Pendleton after Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said local Marines were placed on high alert for the protests in L.A. Typically, the U.S. military is not allowed to carry out civilian law enforcement roles against U.S. citizens except in times of emergency.
If they're coming across a situation where they're given an order, and if their conscience tells them that it is unlawful, yes, I'm asking them to disobey that order.
Though Secretary Hegseth previously mentioned Camp Pendleton, U.S. Northern Command says 500 Marines from 29 Palms are prepared to deploy.
And right now, the U.S. Coast Guard is looking for 6 people who were on board a small plane that crashed off the coast of Point Loma.
Yeah, this happened yesterday, just before 1 in the afternoon. CBS 8's Chris Groh live at Sunset Cliffs now with everything we know at this hour here. Chris?
Yeah, and as the last update, this is still being referred to as a search and rescue mission. Again, so far, none of those 6 people on board the plane have been found at this time. The search effort going on miles off of our coast. It's believed that the plane crashed about 3 miles off the coast in this general area. According to the Coast Guard, they have found debris and there has been oil that has been found, but this is an area in which they believe the deepest parts 200 feet. And then, of course, adding to the difficulty, the current and so forth. Now, the Coast Guard is the lead agency, but others are assisting or have assisted, like San Diego Harbor Police and San Diego Lifeguards. Harbor Police actually, funny enough, assisting by utilizing their sonar equipment to search beneath the depths there. Now, as for the plane itself, we know it's a Cessna 414. And according to the website FlightAware, a Cessna 414 took off from San Diego International Airport at 12:24 p.m. Sunday, just yesterday, bound for Phoenix. Its last known location was over the ocean just west of where we are now. Now, why the plane crashed itself will be its own investigation. The NTSB, the FAA, all likely going to contribute to that. As for any updates here, we have reached out to the Coast Guard this morning, but have not heard back at this hour. Of course, if we do get any update on this search and rescue operation, we'll be sure to pass along that info. But for now, we're going to send things back to you, Eric and Evan.
All right, Chris, staying on top of that, thank you. Also this morning, a man is dead after crashing into a parked car in Mount Hope. It happened just before 11 last night on 42nd Street near J Street. Police say the 24-year-old driver was speeding on the southbound side of the street, lost control, and crashed into a parked Jeep Wrangler. 3 additional parked cars were damaged. The man died at the scene. Police say it's unclear if DUI was a factor. Also this morning, President Donald Trump's travel ban is now in effect. Traveling to the U.S. is off limits for Afghanistan, Iran, Haiti, and 9 other countries. There are also partial restrictions on 7 other countries that include Cuba and Venezuela. The move comes after President Donald Trump issued a proclamation saying he needs to act to protect national security and national interests of the United States and its people. There are some exceptions. People not affected include U.S. permanent residents, athletes, or members of a team traveling for major sporting events determined by the Secretary of State, special immigrant visas for U.S. government employees, and immigration visas for people facing persecutions in Iran. Also, visas issued before this ban took effect will not be revoked. An advisor for the House of Iran at Balboa Park explains how this policy could impact families with loved ones abroad.
Will be this connection, meaning that the people that wanted to come to see their family, they will not be able to do that. The students that wanted to come and study here, they will no longer be able to come.
The proclamation points out the president is open to working with countries willing to improve information sharing, identity management procedures, and, quote, address both terrorism and related public safety risks. It's unclear how long the travel ban will last.
Today, a proposed monthly trash collection fee will be going up for what could be a final debate in the city of San Diego. The city council is set to discuss and vote on whether to charge residents up to nearly $50 a month to pick up their trash and recycling. If approved, the fee could take effect in July. People will have a chance to voice their opinions. The meeting starts at 2 p.m. inside the council chambers. And today, City Council also considering an ordinance that would regulate what landlords charge their tenants for city-provided utilities. City staff say this is to ensure property owners don't overcharge their tenants for the new trash fee in an attempt to collect more profit. The proposed ordinance would require any water, sewer, stormwater, or trash fees charged to tenants be no more than what the landlord pays. It also requires property owners to provide written notice that a utility fee will be charged. Tenants would have the right to request an itemized list of utility charges. The ordinance also establishes enforcement and punishment for any violations. This morning, San Diego County plans to roll out a new mobile app to help address our homelessness crisis. The district attorney's office says the Shelter Ready app connects people experiencing homelessness to available shelter beds in real time. Officials say the app has been beta tested for several months in the North County and is now ready to go countywide. Taking a peek outside here on a Monday. How are things looking out there, Evan, here? Is June gloom still going to be in full effect this week?
It looks like the entirety of the week, let alone, I mean, in some cases, the entirety of the month possible. But we do see that between now and the end of the week, the weekend, that the morning hours will be reserved for that dense layer of clouds that you just saw from pretty much every mountain camera and coastal camera that we have out there, detecting that those clouds are stretching all the way to about the western slopes of the mountains. You can see that in Ramona right now, where they're at less than a mile of visibility. You got, aside from that, 3 miles down in Imperial Beach, 2 miles up in Fallbrook. So low clouds absolutely impacting the start of our Monday. By the time we get to the afternoon, we should be transitioning to sunshine. But remember that the cloud cover that we have out there plays a huge role in determining how warm we get by the afternoon. So if those clouds hug the coast and don't leave, mid-60s. If we get maybe a couple hours, an hour or two in the afternoon of sunshine, should be making it to the upper 60s, maybe 70. Across our inland valleys, the expectation is that those clouds hang out through about 11 a.m., in some cases noon, and then start that pullback, 77 by the afternoon. They'll see more fracturing a little bit earlier on in the day, meaning that you kind of watch for those small breaks in the clouds, leading to a little bit of blue. 81 for the mountains, they're unaffected by that marine layer. And then for the deserts, boy, you can really tell how warm they are going to be thanks to a lack of clouds. 109 in Borrego Springs and Ocotillo Wells. Here's a live look outside. Sunrise was at 5:40. Gloomy out there. We'll have that sunset coming in at 7:56. Not a great opportunity this week to see a lot of that sunset, and at least the sunset hues that we're used to, just because of June gloom after all. 61 right now in Oceanside, 60 in Del Mar, 59 in Mira Mesa, and 57 in Ramona. Temperatures stay pretty stagnant over the course of the week. You can see how today is largely the cooler day. Looks like we have better opportunities for sunshine, at least earlier on, before noon maybe, going into the middle of the week and the end of the week as those temperatures warm up. Let's check in on traffic. So far, drive times outside haven't been looking too bad on the 163 northbound or the 8 westbound. Those spots are looking smooth still at the 6 o'clock hour. On the Coronado Bridge from downtown into Coronado, you're at 43 miles per hour. Slowing down a little bit compared to normal, but still only a 3-minute commute across the bridge. Let's take a look at your border wait times. 30-minute wait, that's it, at the San Ysidro Port of Entry. Should be pretty quick. Otay Mesa Port of Entry going to take you a little bit longer, about 100 minutes. So in total, about an hour 40 to get across from the Otay Mesa Port.